Is the sky high California real estate market finally breaking? Not sure. Again, we are seeing record supply come on the market. Just saw an article talking about supply being above 2019 levels. Now, again, remember what we are talking about here. We are talking about a lot of markets where the median home price is well over $500,000. And 3 of these markets, it's likely over $1 million. What is going on? Is this just more supply, sellers freaking out? Is this less demand? Is it both? Well, let's take a look at the markets. Let's take a look at what's going on. Let's also talk about the Fed. The Fed minutes were released yesterday, and all I can say is they are confused, which is usually what happens at inflection points. We'll get to that in a minute. But let's talk about California real estate. According to this article, demand has withered as inventory exceeds 2019 levels. For example, Orange County, inventory is up 66%. Remember, we talk to Adrian Hernandez each and every week, and he has told us about listings staying on the market longer. San Diego, up 55%. Fresno, the market I play in, up 48%. Sacramento, where Matt the mortgage guy is, up 47%. And even the tech hot San Jose market has inventory up 39%. It is going to be very interesting to see where the California market goes because, as we've said, uncertainty is reigning. Yesterday or the day before, we talked about delistings skyrocketing, something like 48% or something. So it will be interesting to see if the California real estate market follows trend or if this might be a sign that some California markets might go Phoenix or Austin or, heaven forbid, even West Palm Beach or whatnot. So again, this is very interesting for us to look at. More on this after the summer. As you've all heard me say, I think by the fall, we're going to see a stronger housing market than most people think. And by stronger, I mean more transactions. Again, remember my call with Lance Lambert. I believe existing home sales will have more transactions in September 2025 than we did in 24 and even 23. So that was the call on that show. So we will see what we see. Fed minutes were released yesterday, and boy, oh boy, can the Fed is starting to have big disagreements. Again, the last Fed meeting did result in unanimous vote to hold rates steady. I suspect that will not be the case at the July meeting, as in the meeting, in the Fed meeting minutes, some Fed president said we should have cuts at the next meeting, which again would be July. It's important to note that this meeting occurred 6 weeks ago, and we've had a fair amount of economic data since then. But again, these are the thoughts of the Fed. In that same meeting, likely very different Fed presidents, they are still saying, at least some, no cuts all year. So think about that. You have some Fed presidents, arguably Michelle Bowman and Christopher Waller, saying cut in July. And it sounds like you have several also saying no cuts in 2025. This is not unheard of. This is often what happens at economic inflection points, especially with a tariff-induced kerfuffle. Again, there's a lot of people in the Fed who think that the inflation is going to come through in a big way, i.e. Jerome Powell saying, watch out for the summer. Good news is we'll find out next week, at least with the next CPI and PPI reading next week. Others are saying, look through the tariffs. The tariffs are a one-time adjustment, and it is not to be, concerned long-term. I don't know. We're going to find out. I think at this point, a July rate cut is highly, highly unlikely. But hey, a September rate cut, we're going to have 2 or 3 more months of economic data, jobs, inflation. So again, we will be in a lot more certain place. And also, let's not forget, President Trump has, instituted potentially even more tariffs. Now we're talking about 50% on copper, 200% on pharmaceuticals, talking about perhaps having a trade war with Brazil as they institute 50% and Brazil snaps back. We We are not through this just yet, although the stock market seems to be looking through it as they feel like they understand the game that President Trump is playing. Shout out to my community. I just got a note yesterday. You can look in the comments. Somebody saved $1,800, $1,800 by leveraging our sponsor for the daily financial news, Steadily. Again, folks, if you are a landlord with units in this insurance environment, it behooves you to get multiple quotes. I put a link below in all the daily financial news. You should go there. It takes 5 minutes. See if they can get you better price, better coverage. Again, I do this with all of my properties as they come up, and they have saved me a lot of money. But they haven't saved me $1,800 yet. Man, that's a lot of money. $1,800. What is that? $1,500 a month? Or no, I'm sorry, $150 a month. That is pretty cool. Since we're talking about school, we had 3 people join yesterday. Ryan, Diane, and Justin. Thank you guys for joining. Make sure you introduce yourself. Again, school is the place for wealth builders. We have 7 different masterminds or accountability groups, thousands of dollars in education, even my Sunday conversations where you can come ask me questions. But the value of the community is the community. You want to be around 420 other people going the same direction. There is a map feature native to the mobile and desktop now. So again, check it out. If you want to get your first month free, I think there's a couple left, only a couple of left, with Mark, the financial firefighter. Just reach out to him, follow him, and he will reimburse you for the first month. I think there's maybe less than 10 or so left. Again, I haven't checked, but given all the registrations, that feels like the right answer. So if you're the last one out there, Chester, who hasn't done this yet, you might want to join at least and see if the first month is worth your time. I think you will enjoy it. Looks like Kellogg's cereal maker is up for grabs. It looks like it might be sold for $3.1 billion to the maker of Nutella. Yes, Nutella is made by a company called Ferrero, and they just put in a bid for you. At least my favorite cereal maker, Kellogg's. Federal Reserve of Philadelphia just put out a interesting paper basically talking about the unemployment rate potentially spiking to 4.5% by the end of the year. Not to be outdone, I read an article from Pantheon Macroeconomics. Pantheon Macroeconomics says, hold my beer. Pantheon expects the unemployment rate to spike to 4.8% by the end of the year. They also expect the jobs number, the one that comes from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, to average 75,000 the rest of the year. Now, 75,000 is right around that zero line where it really will cause the unemployment rate to spike. And then JP Morgan out with what I thought was a surprising take on the jobs number. JP Morgan is saying they would not be surprised if over the next couple of months, let's call it the next 6 months, we do not have some negative, yes, folks, negative prints. Now, what that means is the job market is clearly breaking. If we get a BLS, Bureau of Labor Statistics report with a negative number on it, that will cause the Fed to react and likely react in a big way. What is a big way? I suspect if we get a negative BLS report, that the Fed will cut 50. The Fed will cut 50 basis points. Again, you have to remember the jobs market often takes the stairs up, but the elevator down. When it gets bad in a hurry historically. Let's talk about Delta Airlines. Delta Airlines came out with better than expected earnings this morning, but really said something that was important. They said that bookings have stabilized. Remember, folks, it was only 90 days ago when many airlines were cutting expectations and talking about uncertainty and volume and cutting legs. Delta Airlines has come back and said bookings have stabilized. Is this a sign that the consumer is less concerned, less uncertain? Is this a sign that it's just the summer and it's time to go out and have some vacations? I don't know, but it is interesting to see that we might be seeing some green shoots. Again, as I've said for decades, consumers can act scared for 6 months and then eventually say, screw it. I have to live my life. I'm not going to live in fear. Delta Airlines might be giving us our first look at that. We have to watch Brazil. I think Brazil has a chance of really initiating a trade war. I believe Trump yesterday talked about having a 50% hit on Brazil. Brazil's president came back and said, tit for tat, we're going to do the same thing. So again, we still have some trade war noise in the system, some larger than others. Many people are obviously looking through this trade war. They think they figured out Trump's art of the deal, make a lot of noise, talk crazy numbers, negotiate to a smaller one. We shall see. Shout out Dave Ramsey. Dave Ramsey getting pretty vocal. Dave Ramsey says every young person has a chance to become a millionaire. And as a channel that is focused on building wealth or helping you build wealth, I think it is important that I say without question, I agree. I agree that every young person has the chance to become a millionaire. Shoot, if you look at the just putting $100 away a month for, long enough time, you will become a millionaire. Where Dave Ramsey went one step further is Dave Ramsey said, hey, if you are a young person and you don't become a millionaire, it is no one's fault but your own. Talk about accountability. Talk about putting it out there. Shout out Dave Ramsey for speaking the truth. I love to hear stuff like that. It is Thursday, so we get unemployment. Unemployment claims back down to the 230 level. It came in at 233, down 4K. Remember, folks, about 6 or 7 weeks ago, we spiked to 250. We threw a yellow flag on it. Well, we're right back in the 230s where we have been for a long, long time. As I've often said, this is not going to be one about unemployment claims, but instead, it will be continuing claims. Continuing claims hit another high of 1.965. That is the highest number since November of 2021. This goes back to the whole businesses are uncertain. They're not hiring and not firing. So again, we will have a continuing claims issue, in my opinion. North Carolina just won the best state for business. Apparently, it has the strong workforce and strong economy. We got the ultra rich Americans are shopping real estate. It looks like the ultra rich are shopping for real estate. We are seeing one part of the real estate market explode higher, and that is luxury, north of $10 million. Yes, folks, if you are lucky enough to be in that bracket, you are taking some of your liquidity and getting it out of the stock market. Home sales over 10 million have surged while most parts of the market have slowed down. And the last thing I want to talk about is I want to thank all of you who stuck with me the last 6 weeks or so, maybe 8 weeks now. You probably noticed I went on a negative trend. I was trying to take coaching from Graham Stephan to reach new audience, and it's not me. I am here to build a community. I am not here to be a big YouTube channel. I want to be around wealth builders, and frankly, there's not a lot of us. There is not a lot of wealth builders. Most people want permission to do nothing, and as I've said many times, I do not want to be around them. I will tell you this, if you are growing a YouTube channel or want to grow YouTube, go negative. In the course of 6 weeks or so, my channel grew fast. I got an extra 110,000 views, but in my opinion, they were the wrong views. If you look at the comments from that 6 weeks, lots of negative people, lots of just, frankly, people I don't want to associate with. So I just want to thank you. I know it was a shock to lots of you. It was something I thought was worth a chance or worth a try. Again, Graham is the master, but I again realized I am not here to build a big YouTube channel. I am here to build a community. I want to be around wealth builders. I want to be around people that know it's possible. If you just want to chase doom, there are lots of channels out there for you. I am not one of them. So, folks, have a great day. Join our school community. Get around other wealth builders. Get your free month with the Financial Firefighter. And we will just keep trying to stack wins, get better each and every day. Peace.